Hi, and welcome to day 11 of the 30 days, 30 tools to manage stress and prevent burnout in medicine. And today, the tool is to release and let go of thoughts. So, yesterday, we were talking about observing our emotions with kindness. And I forgot to say that the mnemonic that goes with that is to feel it to heal it. And today we're releasing the thoughts that we have around our emotions. And so studies have shown that we all have emotions and that they come and go. And if we observe the waves of our emotions come and go, that emotions actually last for 90 seconds. It's when we interpret them and tell ourselves stories around them and get our minds involved about our emotions that they persist. So a lot of our thoughts are not wanting our emotions to be as they are, to fight them. And the mnemonic for today is what we resist persists. So what happens is that we get onto that thought train and then things start to build up. So another kind of act metaphor is if you're thinking of yourself on a train station, you can kind of observe your emotions going past in the train carriages. But if you step into the carriage and onto the train thought with your emotions, then that kind of builds up, and that's when anxiety can kind of escalate into panic and stress and all of those things. So yeah, so releasing our thoughts is an act thing called cognitive diffusion. So all of these are ACT strategies that we've talked that I've just kind of reformulated into a system that's easy to do for medicine. So as we said before, a lot of our thoughts are kind of divided into three things: our resisting thoughts, so not wanting things to be as they are; our striving thoughts, so wanting to do more and be more; and then also our kind of internal critic or our imposter thoughts that kind of beat ourselves up. So we have become aware of our thoughts by observing them, and then to release our thoughts is another way of kind of letting go of our thoughts. And so there are a few strategies that you can use to do this. You can put your thoughts on that train carriage and watch them. On that train, and watch them. You can also put them on leaves on the stream and observe them going downwards. You can put them onto clouds in the sky. You can also put them into balloons in the air. You can think about as you are you can kind of think about inhaling what you need for a situation, like calm. And then you can also think about exhaling your stressful thoughts. So exhaling that kind of experiential stress that we feel in challenging situations. So knowing that the stress that we're feeling is not just our own stress, it's our patients and our colleagues' stress. So when we feel it to heal it, we can then release it, knowing that it's not just our stress that we're releasing. So releasing that stressful thought and coming back to that kind of place of calm. So yeah, and so then we're able to not get kind of hooked into that emotional contagion of the stress of others around us, as well as our own stress, and we can release. So kind of a practice is to come to the soles of your feet. This is the SOAR practice. So coming to the soles of your feet. O is observing the thoughts and your emotions. And part of the A, the allowing, is to acknowledge that it's not just your stress that you're feeling. And then releasing it on the out breath, or whichever cognitive diffusion works for you. And then we can come to that place of acceptance. So accepting accepting that life gets lifey and we do get stressed, and it's not just our own stress, it's the stress of others around us. And acceptance is a kind of a process for everybody, and Rumi has a poem called that just calls kind of describes this called the house guest, which I talk about in my yin yoga classes. And so sometimes, our stress, we want to resist it. We want to close the door to it. We don't even want to acknowledge it. So this is a process of acceptance. But sometimes we'll peek through the peephole and kind of, just kind of acknowledge that we are a little bit stressed, or whatever emotion that we're doing. Or sometimes we'll open the door to our stress and we will welcome it, but that's enough to kind of just open it a little bit. Sometimes we will invite it into the doorway, into our hallway, but that's enough. And then the fifth stage of acceptance is that we will sit down, have a cup of tea with our stress, and really befriend it, feel it to heal it, and have it listen to what it's got to say to us. So what are our kind of our thoughts and our beliefs that are behind that stress, that are driving that stress? And then when we accept our emotions, we can then start to respond to it. So that's going to be the I of soaring: investigate what we need, respond to things rather than get caught up in that cycle of reactivity of stress. So that's release. That's the R of soar. So that is the last part of mindfulness. So mindfulness, intentionally coming into the present moment, S, observing it like a curious scientist, our thoughts and our feelings, and then allowing it, accepting it, and releasing our thoughts. Mindfulness. So I'll see you tomorrow for the next part. So the first part, the soar, is to become mindful of our stress edge. And the next part, the ING, is how we can rewire our brains to stay in that zone of challenge. Okay, namaste. If you want to learn more about the Mind Fitness Doctor, then download my free ebook, The Stress Reset Toolbox for Women in Medicine, or join me in my 6-week Mindful Self-Compassion for Medicine course, or the 8-week Mind Fit Doctor course, How to Manage Stress and Prevent Burnout in Medicine, the Mind Fitness Gym membership for Women in Medicine, or my Recharge retreats.